Next, got some rations here. Some of the food that we ate back in those days, we didn't have when we were in the field. We didn't have MREs, the little plastic bags that are all dehydrated that the soldiers and Marines have now when they're out in the field. Ours came to us in these adorable little boxes right here, and they even told us what was in them. This particular one happens to be tuna. And there it is, a can of tuna. Just like chicken of the sea or star-kissed, it does taste pretty good. It wasn't too bad. Another one of the cans that is in this particular one is this little one. It's a can of peanut butter. I can tell you this, it's not Skippy or Jeff. It is honestly the worst peanut butter that I've ever ate in my life, but it did serve the purpose. There were also cans this size that had, strawberry jam, grape jelly, cheese, and such as that. The strawberry jam really wasn't too bad. It did actually taste pretty good. And lastly, there'd be a can similar to this, or maybe even a little taller, and it has crackers, little round crackers, candy, and a powdered drink mix. Now that powdered drink mix might be a cocoa, kind of like Nestle's Quick, or an orange, grape, or lemonade mix that would taste similar to Kool-Aid would be in there. Now the candy would be a hard candy generally, kind of something along the lines of Lifesavers. There were some though that occasionally would have a little round candy bar that was kind of like a Nestle's Crunch bar would be in there. Now also inside that sea ration box there was what was called the accessory pack. It had salt, pepper, coffee creamer, chewing gum, book of matches, and this very special little item. I always like to ask the folks when they're visiting a museum if they have any idea what this is. And I'll get responses that, it's cotton, or it's tissue paper for blowing your nose, or matches, any number of things. All wrong. All wrong. This, folks, was your daily supply of toilet paper. That's it, right there. You got that. And if I opened it all the way up, it's about 5 or 6 sheets long. And if you want an idea what that is, the next time you use the restroom, pull off 6. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. 6 sheets. Fold them up real neat and put them in your hip pocket. That's it for the day. You learn to use it very, very wisely. Also, in this pack, there's an item, but before I tell you what it is, I have a personal message that I always like to convey. You older folks will understand. Smoking's not a good thing. It's not good for you. It's a very bad habit, unhealthy, unclean. But believe it or not, our military, our government, your government military, used to encourage us fellas to smoke. They included cigarettes in every one of these packets. Little pack of 3 or 4 cigarettes, because they concluded that smoking helped you relax. I don't know. Couldn't tell you. I've never smoked. Didn't use them. I saved them, because I would use them to trade to the guys and fellas that smoked for the little round ice cream cups. I got a lot of ice cream when I'd be on deployment. Now, eventually they took the cigarettes out of these because someone very smart, doctor, scientist, somebody, figured out that smoking was bad for you. So they removed them. And they found out that chewing gum was just as good to help you relax as smoking a cigarette, and a whole lot healthier. So there we go. Now we've covered what we used to eat. Everybody does ask about my sidearm that I carried. One like this. I carried one like it for the better part of 8 years. It's a Colt 1911A1 45 automatic. This is the round that it shoots. It's a very heavy round. It does a lot of damage. It's a very dependable weapon. This particular one I have owned for over 40 years. And it still functions just as good as it did the day it was made. And right now, this particular one is 91 years old. It was made in 1929. Very dependable weapon. Lastly, my helmet. This is mine. I did not buy it at a rummage sale or a flea market anywhere. It's mine. I actually wore this in my years flying. A lot of the young folks or people will ask me, why does it look like it does? Well, we were allowed the freedom to decorate them however we wanted to, as long as it wasn't vulgar or obscene. And generally we would get them, they would be white, or if they had been used, they would have other stuff on them and we would scrape it off and start from scratch. Well, this one looks like it does because one night I was at work waiting for flights to come back and I didn't have anything else to do, but I did have a pair of scissors and some colored tape. And I just started cutting and taping and cutting and taping. And I ended up with my little airborne Gila monster. That's what I called it, because he's got his little snooping eyes up here and big eyes down here. He's even got his mouth over here on this side and on the sides. And it's pretty special to me. We've been a lot of places together. So that being said, if there's many other things on my table that I haven't covered, but I know your teacher or instructor probably has all the information in which to contact us here at the museum. So if any of you have any questions about the other items that are on my table, or even any of the other items that I talked about, just have your teacher or you write up your question, which don't ever be afraid to ask a question. My grandmother was a teacher for 43 years, and she always told me, the only dumb question is the one you don't ask. So you sit down with your teacher, write out your question, have her, or even you email the museum here, care of Snowman. That was my call sign, because we do have a couple other fellows here that their first name is John also. But just send your question to Snowman, and I'll be happy to answer any and all questions you might have. That being said, I hope you all have a great day, and I hope to see you here at the museum in person maybe someday. Have a great day.